Good evening, my dear students. Good evening, everyone. Okay, who do we have here? Anu, Ashwin, Jen, Vishmoga. Okay. So, do all of you understand Kannada? Write yes in the chat box if it is yes, or write no. Okay. No. Okay. Chalo, no problem. So, we'll try to keep it in more of a English. So, as yesterday, JNV Yanam has requested. So, and then a little bit of bilingual language here and there. Okay. So, as you know, we are going to start, 12th classes today. So yesterday we did some of the orientation and today we're going to start the actual class. So in this class, you will be understanding the chapter sexual reproduction in flowering plants. Okay, so we are going to start today, but it will take a lot of time to move ahead. ठीक है तो इस क्लास को खत्म होने के लिए एक हफ्ता तो बिल्कुल लग जाएगा इट विल टेक 1 week एंड इट माइट टेक मोर देन 1 week also. Okay, so we'll move ahead then. Okay, I feel like all of you have joined, and whoever is joining, let them keep joining. Okay, so the chapter name is Sexual Reproduction in Flowering Plants. Okay, this is the first chapter that we are going to understand. So, before entering into the chapter, I want you to answer a very simple question. Okay, what is that simple question? What is the reproductive unit in angiosperms? Okay, this is your question. Very easy question, very simple question. Okay, so I want to be launching polls today. Okay, from polls will be from tomorrow. So actually, you can answer your options in the comment box. Okay. All right. So most of you are saying the reproductive unit in angiosperm is flower. Okay. So Ashwin has answered. Jen Vishmoga has answered. Okay. Chalo, very nice to see that. Before getting into the chapter, this is a very basic thing that you must know. Okay, so reproductive unit is what? It is a flower actually in the angiosperms. Okay, you might have studied this. Okay, any plant has its phases. Okay, उसके phases होते हैं. As soon as it is born, now it is a plant sapling. Okay, so plant sapling will grow, and that phase will be called as vegetative phase or juvenile phase. Okay, so after the juvenile phase, the plant reach into the reproductive phase where you can see the plant is giving out flowers. Okay, so flowers and fruits will be seen in the reproductive phase, and later of so many years, the plant will reach into a senescence phase, that is the old age phase. Okay, so plants have these kind of phases in them. So whereas reproductive phase may you will see the flower, and that flower is the reproductive unit. Okay, so I'm very happy to see that all of you have answered it correctly. So D is the answer. Okay, so as you can see, D are the flowers. So let us see which others are not the answers. Okay, like leaves. What do you call leaves? Leaves are the kitchen of plant. Okay, what they does? They do the photosynthesis. Okay, they do the photosynthesis. That means what? With the help of light, they prepare their food. Okay, we are heterotrophs, right? We are completely dependent on plants for our food. But plants, they prepare their own food. They are autotrophs. Clear? Okay. Then what about roots? Roots' job is to absorb the water and minerals from the soil. Okay, to absorb करना water and mineral from the soil, that is its job. And coming to stem, stem helps in the providing mechanical support to the entire plant. Okay, पूरे plant के लिए mechanical support provide करता है. इसके अलावा help in the transportation of water and food like the other minerals in the form of phloem tube. Okay, the phloem is the conducting tube through which the food substances will be conducted, and xylem is that complex tissue through which the water and minerals will be conducted. Okay, so you must know, beta. I had told you this in the when I was teaching you the photo. No, no. I didn't teach you, right? Okay. So I don't know how many of you have listened to my classes in 11th, but जिन बच्चों को मैंने पढ़ा है, I have told them that photosynthesis में क्या होता है? Okay, so food is prepared in the form of glucose. Okay, and it is stored in the form of starch, but it is conducted in the form of sucrose. Okay, glucose is a monosaccharide, sucrose is a disaccharide, and starch is a polysaccharide. तो store होता है starch की form में, transport या फिर conduct होता है disaccharide की form में. ठीक है, so that you need to know. So flowers are what? These are the reproductive unit which attract the pollinators and they do the pollination. What is pollination? Transfer of pollen grains. Right? I'll tell you that in this chapter. आप आके डिटेल में पढ़ने वाले हो इसके बारे में. So transfer of pollen grains from the stamen into the stigma of the flower. Okay, I'll tell you how actually that happens. All right. So D is the answer for this question. I hope this is clear to everyone. Next question. In flower, what type of reproduction takes place? Okay, just now you said, okay, so in angiosperms, flower is a reproductive unit, right? So in flower, what type of reproduction takes place? Asexual, sexual, binary fission, budding? What do you think is the answer? Very simple question though, huh? Okay, Pratyusha says B, which is, I'll tell you. Okay. And also just don't put the message, to all. Put it only to me. Like say, यहाँ पे आपको option मिलेगा कि direct message to some particular person. So you have to direct message Avanti fellows. Okay? So that आपका option कोई और ना देखे. See, Pratisha has answered me directly. That is good. What about others? Only one answer. Why is that so? In flower, what type of reproduction takes place? Such an easy question. Okay, so let's see. Let's see. Chalo. So, beta, you must be wondering when we say the question in flower, what type of reproduction? So, first of all, what is reproduction? Reproduction means it's nothing but producing offsprings. Okay, that means a baby is formed from the parent. Okay, the next generation ko banana, making a next progeny, that is reproduction. Okay, so reproduction can be majorly classified into two categories, asexual and then sexual. In asexual, you will have so many things to understand here. In unisexual, sorry, in asexual, you will see the condition of the progeny, okay, is dependent on the uniparental condition. ठीक है, तो uniparent एक parent से भी next progeny हमको मिल सकता है. Okay, that is asexual. Coming to sexual, we need the biparental. Okay, so here two parents are needed. So with the help of two parents, okay, we get the gametes, and with the help of gametes, fertilization occurs. With the fertilization, we get the zygote. Okay, so asexual mein beta, I'll just give you one of the example here. It is a uniparental process. Take an example of amoeba. Okay, amoeba, what it will do? It will divide itself into the two daughter cells, and those daughter cells are the exact copies of the parent. Okay, exact copies of the parent. Hence, you can also call it as a clone. You can also call it as a clone. Okay, but when we say the sexual, it here what happens? Fertilization occurs between the male and female parent to get the zygote, and that zygote is the diploid through which you get the embryo, formation of embryo. Okay, zygote is a structure which is formed after fertilization. उसके बाद फिर embryogenesis होगा, that means formation of embryo. Then you get the individual plant. Okay, so with this sexual reproduction, you won't get the exact copies or clones because यहाँ पे variability will be seen in the genetic makeup, and that variability will leads to evolution. So that is why nature prefers sexual reproduction because of the genetic variability. Okay, so plants में देखो, plants are flowering plants. Okay, तो यहाँ पे asexual is not possible, sexual is the correct answer. What is binary fission? Binary fission is what? You can take a parent cell, it is divided in half to get the two daughter cells. Okay, this is binary fission. What can be budding? So budding is nothing but, you can take an example of yeast or hydra. Here you can see A small buds are formed from the mother parent. Okay, mother plant or the parent plant. So these buds will have the capability to live their individual life. ये separate होंगे and they become the individual organism. Okay, so B is the answer for this question. I think it's clear to everyone. Now, so sexual reproduction in flowering plants we are going to start. So what are all the things that you need to understand in this chapter? So first thing is that you will understand the morphology of flowers. Okay, morphology of the flowers, and then you will understand the anatomy. Okay, so how actually anther is made up of, how ovule is made up of, how and what are the structures are present inside the anther and ovule. Okay, so morphology of the flower, kaisa flower dikhta hai, and what that structure, special structures in flowers are made up of, and then how anther is developed. Okay, so anther is responsible for male, gamete formation, and the ovule is responsible for female gamete formation. Okay, तो ये कैसे बनते हैं, कैसे develop होते हैं, that we will also see, and then we will also see the pollination. Okay, pollination means I told you transfer of pollen grains from anther to the stigma. So why that happens and what is the need and how it happens, everything and what are the types of pollination. सब कुछ देखेंगे. And then after fertilization, okay, what is fertilization? Fusion of male and female gametes. After the fusion, we call it as a fertilization process to get the zygote. Okay, तो अब fertilization होने के बाद after fertilization, what are all the changes that occur in the plant or in a flower? We call it as a post-fertilization changes that we will study. Okay, that we will study in this chapter. So these are the overview that we are going to understand in this chapter. Okay, chalo. So coming to the introduction, okay. So all flowering plants show sexual reproduction. This is very basic and you need to understand this. All flowering plants, they show sexual reproduction. ठीक है, आपको फ्लावरिंग प्लांट्स में asexual is impossible to find. Clear? So flowering plants, if you are seeing, then it is a clear indication that yes, it is a sexual reproduction. Okay, and flowers are the sex units of the plants. Okay, so flowers are what? These are the sex parts or the sex units of the plants. Okay, so very simple. We know that now. Clear? Chalo. So in your NCRT, if you open and you will see, there are some, sentences given in your NCRT. What they have given, inflorescence bear floral buds, which leads to the formation of parts of flower. Okay, so you all know what is inflorescence. Inflorescence is a group of flower. Okay, flower is just one single unit in a plant. Okay, when we say inflorescence, inflorescence has so many flowers. Okay, arranged in one bundle. एक पूरे bundle में arrange होते हैं. ठीक है. So now what do you see? Inflorescence bear floral buds. Okay, तो वहां पे बहुत सारे flowers होंगे and there might be so many flowers. And flowers, if they are occurring in the inflorescence, there must be a presence of floral bud. Okay, so that floral bud will lead to the formation of entire flower and all other parts of flower. Okay, so how exactly that happens? Let me tell you. Okay, so let's start with the seed. Right, so if you see a seed germinating, you will see the two parts in the germination. One is plumule and another one is radicle. I had told you this. I have taught you the plant growth and reproduction. Sorry, plant growth and development. Okay, तो तब मैंने आपको समझाया था. So the stem formation will occur from plumule region and the roots will form from the radicle. Okay, so now let's take the part of a plumule. Okay, so this plumule will prepare the shoot system. Okay, तो पूरा shoot system बनाएगा. So shoot system consists of stem, so many branches, and then in the branches you will see the leaves. Okay, so that you will see. Now, so there is a shoot apex. What is shoot apex? The tip where the growing shoot is found. Okay, so shoot apex में what you will find beta? You will find the primordium. What is primordium? Primordium is the primitive structure of any part of plant. Okay, so plant has many parts, like leaf we have, okay, and we have inflorescence. Okay, if it is in a inflorescence या फिर solitary हो तो hibiscus में बेटा it is solitary, एक single flower होता है. It might be single or it might be in the inflorescence. Okay, so if flower is forming, after sooner or later fruit will also be forming. Okay, so branches will be there, leaves will be there. There are so many structures. Okay, so here in the shoot apices or the apex, you will find the primordium. Primordium is the primitive structure of any part of leaf. Sorry, any part of plant. Okay, तो अब यहाँ पे देखना बेटा, this is here I have written leaf का primordium. Okay, so this part of the primordium will eventually grow to form leaf. Okay, now there is a part here I have written IP. So this is inflorescence primordium. So this part of the shoot apices will later form into a inflorescence. Okay, तो ये बाद में जाके inflorescence बन जाएगा. So now it is a primitive structure and that structure is called as primordium. Okay, so that you will see. Now, so this inflorescence primordium, इसको मैंने थोड़ा highlight करके I'm showing you here. Okay, so this is a flower bud now. This is a flower bud. Inside a flower bud, you will get many other primordium. Like what? So flower has its part like petals, sepals, stamen, stigma, ovary, all these things will be there, right? So for the formation of those parts of flower, you will find the primordium of those parts in the flower bud. Okay, like see, sepal primordium, petal primordium, stamen primordium, pistil primordium, all of these primordiums will be found in the floral bud. Okay, so that you need to know. Clear? So inside a plant, there is an inflorescence. Okay, inflorescence is a group of flower. Okay, if you take an each flower, okay, it is originated from a flower bud. Okay, so flower bud has so many parts of flower primordium, which will be initially in the primitive structure and later, after so many mitotic divisions, it will develop into that particular part as a sepal or petal or stamen. ठीक है, तो अब बेटा मुझे आप एक जवाब देना. Okay, one question I'm going to ask you. Either it is a shoot apices or it might be a flower bud. Okay, I told you they are primordium. Later, after so many mitotic divisions, they will form the exact structure which perform its function, right? So, which are these cells? Are these cells meristematic or permanent cells? That you need to tell me in the chat box. बेटा ये permanent cells है या meristematic cells है? What are meristematic cells? Meristematic cells are those cells who have the ability to divide. Okay, permanent cells doesn't have the ability to divide. Okay, if you have read the chapter of plant growth and development, I have told you differentiation. Differentiation occurs from meristematic cell. Okay, meristematic cell के पास ability है divide करने की. It will form into a permanent cell. So permanent cell doesn't have the ability to divide. But this process of converting a meristematic cell into a permanent cell is called as differentiation. Permanent cell can be parenchyma, collenchyma, sclerenchyma. That is simple permanent tissue. Complex permanent tissue can be xylem and then phloem. Okay, I hope you are remembering all those things that we have studied. Okay, chalo. So I hope this is clear to everyone. Let's move ahead now. So what do you see in a flower? So each flower has 4 floral whorls. We call it as whorls, or you can say in simple language layers. Okay, so 4 floral layers that are arranged on a swollen end. Okay, which is that swollen end? Can you see here? This red part. Okay, यहाँ पे मैंने red किया है. That swollen red part can be called as a receptacle or also called as thalamus. इसको हम thalamus भी बोल सकते हैं या फिर receptacle भी बोल सकते हैं. ठीक है, चलो. So that swollen end is present on the stalk. Okay, the stalk is nothing but a holder, a holding structure of the flower. Okay, so that stalk on flower we call it as a pedicel. Okay, pedicel कहते हैं बेटा. You might have studied this in the anatomy of flowering plant, right? तो flower के stalk को बेटा हम कहते हैं pedicel. Clear? So 4 floral whorls arranged on the swollen end, that is thalamus, on the stalk or the pedicel. Okay. So 4 floral whorls में बेटा 2 are accessory organs and 2 are reproductive organs. You can also say non-essential or essential. ठीक है. So non-essential में बेटा we also call it as an accessory organ. You will see calyx and corolla. Okay. So what is calyx? Calyx is a term used collectively for the sepal. You know sepal, right? बेटा आपने सब hibiscus plant देखा है. तो hibiscus plant का जो sepal है बेटा, each unit is a sepal, but collectively those sepals are called as calyx. Similarly, a flower has so many petals. Petal is an individual unit. So collectively, we call it as a corolla. Okay. So now what is the function of calyx? Calyx does the function of protection. ओके आपने देखा होगा बेटा जब फ्लावर अभी बडिंग स्टेज में होता है तो इट लुक्स लाइक अ ग्रीन स्मॉल बड राइट सो दैट ग्रीन सेपल इज डूइंग द प्रोटेक्शन until the primordium cells are growing, meristematic cells are dividing to become the permanent cells. Okay, so that is what calyx gives the protection. Petals have the bright color that attract the pollinators. Okay, pollinators को attract करते हैं for the pollination. Clear? And the next organs are reproductive organs, can also be called as essential because they are truly essential in a flower. Okay, so without these androecium and gynoecium, we cannot say it's a flower. Okay, so you will see androecium and gynoecium. Androecium refers to male part and gynoecium refers to female part. Okay, what is the unit of androecium? That is stamen. And what is the unit in gynoecium? That is pistil. Okay, so pistil is a unit which we call as a gynoecium, and androecium is a part of male reproductive structure. That unit is a stamen. Okay, clear हो रहा है सब कुछ? चलो, it's very easy. इसमें कुछ इतना difficult वाला है नहीं. Okay, so now you can see the structure of flower. Okay, if you see the flower here, there is a stalk. Okay, stalk means the holder. Okay, that holder is called as pedicel. Pedicel है, pedicel के ऊपर there is a swollen part. Okay, so this swollen part is called as receptacle or thalamus. Okay, we call it as thalamus or receptacle. Okay, so receptacle के ऊपर बेटा you can see there is a presence of ovary. Okay, ovary is there. Okay, so this entire part is the gynoecium actually. Wait, let me tell you that. First pedicel, then comes the thalamus and receptacle. After that, you will see the sepal that protects the flower before opening. Okay, so opening होने से पहले protect करता है. And then petals. Petals are nothing but modified leaves that have the unique shape and color to attract the pollinators. ये सब clear है? ठीक है. So देखो, sepal and petal are accessory whorls. Okay, now coming to stamen. Stamen is a reproductive whorl. Okay, so it consists of, what does it consist of? Anther. ओके इसमें स्टेमन में एंथर होता है एंड देन फिलामेंट होता है. ठीक है, एंथर एंड फिलामेंट इज फॉर्म्ड. सो व्हाट इज एंथर? एंथर इज अ स्ट्रक्चर ओके दैट प्रोड्यूसेस द पोलन ग्रेन. ओके, पोलन ग्रेन इज अ मेल गेमेटोफाइट. यू नो मेल गेमेटोफाइट राइट? बेटा आप 11th में पढ़ के आए हो. गेमेटोफाइट इज अ स्ट्रक्चर विच, अब गेमेटोफाइट किसको कहते हैं बेटा? दैट इज अ स्ट्रक्चर दैट कैरीज मेल गैमीट. मेल गैमेट कैरी करने वाले स्ट्रक्चर को वी कॉल एज अ गेमेटोफाइट. ओके, सो पोलन ग्रेन इज अ मेल गेमेटोफाइट. पोलन ग्रेन इज नॉट अ गैमीट. पोलन ग्रेन के अंदर गैमीट होता है. आई विल टेल यू दैट. ठीक है, सो एंथर प्रोड्यूसेस पोलन एंड पोलन इज अ मेल गेमेटोफाइट. Inside male gametophyte we will find the two gametes. Okay, so filament is what? Filament is the support or the holder of the anther. Okay, so this is reproductive whorl. Another reproductive whorl is pistil or also called as male part. So here what do you see? Here you will see the stigma, that is the sticky bulb that catches the pollen grain. ठीक है, ये स्टिकी होता है बेटा. क्यों होता है स्टिकी? क्योंकि उसके ऊपर पोलन किट होता है. आई टीच यू दैट. ओके, इसी चैप्टर में आप पढ़ोगे. ओके, सो स्टिग्मा विल बी देयर एंड देन स्टाइल. सो स्टाइल इज व्हाट? स्टाइल इज द पासेज वे फॉर द पोलन ट्यूब. ओके, तो यहाँ पे क्या होगा बेटा? पोलन ग्रेन जब आके गिरेगा ना स्टिग्मा के ऊपर, सो दैट पोलन ग्रेन विल जर्मिनेट टू फॉर्म द पोलन ट्यूब. So that pollen tube will travel inside the style and reaches the ovule. Ovule is the small part that you see here inside the big ovary. Okay, तो ovule तक reach करेगा. Ovule में reach करने के बाद वहां पे it will do the fertilization process. Okay, I will teach you that later. But for now, just look into the structure. Okay, anther, filament in a stamen, stigma style ovary in a pistil. Others are accessory whorls that you see. Okay, and I told you that anther produces pollen grain. One pollen grain contains two male gametes. Okay, which can be, compared to the sperm. Which can be compared to the sperm. So one pollen grain is a male gametophyte. Male gametophyte is the pollen grain. Okay. Chalo, we'll move ahead now. So structure of flower को with the help of reference of the NCERT we will study. Okay. So a typical flower has two reproductive parts. We know that just now we saw androecium and gynoecium. Androecium refers to the male part and the gynoecium refers to the female part. Okay, now we'll move ahead. Chalo. So we'll see the androecium here. So if you see this flower, I told you, right? Androecium is the male reproductive structure. So what is the stamen? What is the unit? Unit is the stamen. Okay, but the androecium is a collective term used for the male reproductive part. Okay, तो मेल रिप्रोडक्टिव पार्ट को हम क्या कह देते हैं, एंड्रोशियम. बट उसका यूनिट क्या है, दैट इज स्टेमन. सो स्टेमन इज द रिप्रोडक्टिव ऑर्गन और द यूनिट इन अ फ्लावर. Okay, we know that. Now, so stamen is a unit. So stamen consists of what? Stamen consists of anther, I told you, very important, anther, and then connective. Connective is the part where filament and anther will join. Can you see here? Okay, so this joining part is called as connective. Okay, and the third one is a slender stalk, that is filament. ठीक है, तो एंथर है, कनेक्टिव सेल्स है, एंड देन फिलामेंट्स आर देयर. These three parts consist of a stamen. Okay, so connective cells that I have told you, these are nothing but parenchymatous, simple parenchymatous cells होते हैं that connects the anther and filament. Okay, चलो, so now we will see one by one. Okay, filament क्या है, कैसा है, anther क्या है, कैसा है, we will see. Okay, चलो. So anther are bilobed. So what do you mean by bilobed? Let me tell you. ओके, तो एंथस बेटा दो लोब के होते हैं. जैसे देखो, दिस इज वन लोब, दिस इज अनदर लोब. ओके, सो दिस वी कॉल इट एज अ बाइलोब्ड. ओके, तो ईच एंथर कॉमनली बेटा, सी इन नेचर वी हैव मोनोलोब्ड आल्सो. मोनोलोब भी आप एंथर देख सकते हो, बट कॉमनली मोस्ट ऑलमोस्ट आप देखोगे कि एंथर इज अ बाइलोब्ड स्ट्रक्चर. Okay, so each lobe, now this is one lobe, this is second lobe. So each lobe is dithecous. The word dithecous, ma'am, what is dithecous? Okay, let me tell you now. So inside the each lobe of anther, you will find a theca. Okay, तो ऐसे करके यहाँ पे थीका होता है. Okay, so this is थीका. Okay, यहाँ पे मैं आपको बताऊंगी. ठीक है, तो यहाँ पे एक सेकेंड. दिस इज एक्चुअली बेटा पोलन लोब हो गया. सो लोब्स के अंदर आप ये जो मैंने येलो में ड्रॉ किया है, ये पोलन सैक है. ठीक है, सो पोलन सैक्स विल बी देयर. इवन एक लोब के लिए दो पोलन सैक, दोनों लोब से मिला के चार पोलन सैक. अब मैम मैं थीका का बता रही थी ना, सो मैम वेर आर थीका ना. बेटा थीका इज प्रेजेंट हियर सराउंडिंग टू पोलन सैक. ओके, पोलन सैक को सराउंड करके थीका यहाँ पे प्रेजेंट होता है. ओके, सो दिस थीका विल प्रेजेंट इन टू इन नंबर. मतलब एक लोब में दो थीका. ओके, सो वन लोब, ईच लोब हैज टू पोलन सैक एंड टू थीका. क्लियर? चलो, तो अब यू विल सी हियर, अभी जो मैंने डायग्राम बनाया है, अभी आप ये देखोगे तो क्लियरली समझ में आ जाएगा. नाउ दिस इज एन एंथर. ओके, ये एंथर है, ये फिलामेंट है. ठीक है, सो दिस इज फिलामेंट एंड दिस इज एंथर. So now from this structure, what do you see? I have highlighted the each lobe. एक लोब मैंने हाईलाइट किया है, देखो ये इंडिविजुअल लोब है. इनसाइड द लोब यू विल सी टू व्हाइट कलर पोलन सैक्स. So these pollen sac has another name. We call them as microsporangia. Okay, so pollen sac has another name. We call it as microsporangia. And these pollen sacs does the function of producing pollen grains. Pollen grains form होते हैं from the pollen sac. Okay, so that you need to know. Okay, so apart from the pollen sac, you will see the surrounding cells. These are the theca. Okay, so each lobe has two theca and two pollen sacs. You need to know. ठीक है, तो अब क्या पता चला? Anther is bilobed, that is one. And two, each lobe is dithecous. Di represents two, so presence of two theca, so dithecous. Okay, so now what you will see, ये तो आपको क्लियर हो गया. ओके, तो नाउ बेटा दिस इज अनदर लोब. ये एक दूसरा लोब है. ठीक है, पोलन सैक्स है. दिस इज पोलन सैक. इनसाइड पोलन सैक यू विल सी द pollen grains. Okay, so here you will see this structure. Can you see this kind of structure? So this structure is called as stomium. ओके, स्टोमियम कहते हैं बेटा। लेटर इट विल कन्वर्ट इनटू लाइन ऑफ डिहाइसेंस। ओके, होता क्या है बेटा, इनिशियली दोनों ही लोब एकदम कवर्ड होते हैं विथ सम प्रोटेक्टिव लेयर वॉल सेल्स। आई विल टेल यू व्हाट आर दोज वॉल लेयर्स। ओके, बट after the maturation of anther, the pollen grains have to come out of the pollen sac or the anther, right? Because dehiscence होना है pollen grains का, only then it will reach the stigma, right? तो अभी कैसे dehiscence होगा? From this special structure which initially we call it as a stromium and later we call it as a line of dehiscence, through which the pollen grains are released out. Clear? So these are some few structures that you need to know. See, this is the line of dehiscence. Can you see? This is first lobe. This is second lobe. Okay, so inside which you will see the microsporangia or the pollen sacs. Inside you will find pollen grain, and pollen grains are released through the line of dehiscence. Okay, so look at this structure. Anther hai, which is bilobed. That means it has two lobes. Each lobe has two theca, hence the name dipicus. Clear no? अभी सबको clear हो गया? चलो, I hope it is clear. Clear, right? Give me a thumbs up if it is clear in the chat box. Say yes or clear or give me a thumbs up so that I'll come to know that you're understanding. Okay, Janvi Yanam is very active to answer the question. Beautiful. Okay, you understood? A typical flower has four different kind of whorls, right? तो दो whorls होते हैं, I told you already. In flower, two different organs. Okay, तो यहाँ पे हमने क्या देखा था बेटा? Four whorls होते हैं, among which two whorls can be called as accessory whorls or non-essential organs or non-essential whorls, and the other is essential whorl or the reproductive whorl. ठीक है, so two whorls are reproductive and two are non-essential, that is accessory. So total four floral whorls will be found. Okay. Now we will understand the structure of anther. Okay, तो anther मैंने बताया बेटा, stamen is a unit of androecium. Stamen has anther and a stalk. Okay, stalk is filament and the part that is present over the filament is the anther. Anther can be bilobed. I told two lobes हो सकते हैं. ठीक है, तो अब हम लोग देखते हैं बेटा इट्स ट्रांसवर्स सेक्शन. ओके, ट्रांसवर्स सेक्शन देख रहे हैं हम लोग. सो हियर व्हाट यू कैन सी, there are two types of sections. One is longitudinal section, another one is transverse section. So how do I tell you? So like this is a structure. Okay, this is a that you need to know. देखो बेटा अब ये है. Okay, तो अब क्या होगा अगर मैं इसको ऐसे काटूंगी, like this. Okay, like this or like this. This is a longitudinal section. If I am cutting it like this is a transverse section. Okay, so transverse section, longitudinal section. Transverse, longitudinal. Okay, so now we have did the transverse section. Okay, we have done the transverse section. चलो, तो अब हमने क्या निकाल के देखा यहाँ पे? So you will see the layers of anther. Okay, so anther की wall layers आप देखोगे. So which is the outermost layer you will see? That is the epidermis. Okay, बेटा आपने anatomy of flowering plants में you have studied and come. Okay, so you know that every part has its protective layer that can be called as epidermis. So even anther has epidermis. Okay, so outermost protective layer is epidermis, and inside epidermis you will find the endothecium. Okay, can you see these cells are endothecium cells which are present right next to the epidermis. Okay, endothecium. After endothecium, you will find 2 to 3 layers of middle layers. Okay, so जो middle layers है बेटा, they can be multiple, more than one they might present, like 2 to 4 layers तक भी रहते हैं, 3 से 4 layer तक भी रह जाते हैं. ठीक है, so middle layers will be present here. First epidermis, then endothecium, and then middle layer. Middle layer can be 2, 3, or 4 in number. Okay, after the middle layer, you will find the specialized cells. We call them as tapetum. Okay, so ये बेटा इनको हम कहते हैं tapetum cells. These are very special. I'll tell you why they are special. Okay, मैं आपको बताऊंगी special क्यों है. But first you need to know layers of anther wall. First layer is epidermis, then endothecium. Middle layers can be multiple, and then tapetum. Okay, so tapetum is a very specialized structure. I'll tell you why. ओके। तो अब बेटा तुम अभी देखो ये ट्रांसवर्स सेक्शन में आपने पहले क्या देखा, फर्स्ट यू सॉ द anther wall layers. Okay, after the layers you will find the pollen sac. I told you, right, the presence of pollen sacs, that is microsporangia. Pollen sacs can also be called as microsporangia. तो microsporangia के okay surrounding, or in the surrounding of the microsporangia or the pollen sac you will find the theca also. But theca beta you cannot see here. Particularly you cannot see the theca, but you must know each lobe has two theca, hence dithecous. ओके, तो तुम थीका को इतना ढूंढने की कोशिश मत करो यहाँ पे, जस्ट यू लुक एट द स्ट्रक्चर ऑफ पोलन सैक और द माइक्रोस्पोरेंजिया. ओके, सो ईच लोब हैज टू पोलन सैक, एंड if we consider the entire anther we will find the four pollen sacs. Okay, so inside pollen sac what do you find? You will find the pollen mother cells. ओके, सो पोलन मदर सेल्स. बेटा एक्चुअली पोलन सैक्स के अंदर स्पेशलाइज्ड टिश्यू होता है जिसको हम कहते हैं स्पोरोजिनस टिश्यू. ओके, सो स्पोरोजिनस टिश्यू कहते हैं विच इज प्रेजेंट इनसाइड द पोलन सैक्स. दो स्पोरोजिनस टिश्यू विल गिव द पोलन मदर सेल्स एक्चुअली. अभी पढ़ोगे बेटा, आई टेल यू दैट इन डिटेल, बट हियर जस्ट फॉर योर रेफरेंस आई एम सेइंग pollen sacs have sporogenous tissue, and those sporogenous tissue will give the pollen mother cell. Pollen mother cell can also be called as a microspore mother cell. ओके, क्यों बेटा? क्योंकि ये माइक्रोस्पोर बनाता है, हेंस द नेम माइक्रोस्पोर मदर सेल. ओके, सो दिस माइक्रोस्पोर मदर सेल और पोलन मदर सेल यू कैन कॉल इट एज अ पीएमसी. PMC, pollen mother cell. You can also call it as a MMC, microspore mother cell. In short, okay. So here you can see it is a diploid. ये बनेगा microspore after meiosis. यहाँ पे meiosis होगा. Meiosis is a reductional division by which you will get the four haploid microspores. Okay. So these microspores are called as immature pollen grains. These are immature pollen grains. Okay. So, beta microspore and pollen grains are नॉट एग्जैक्टली सिमिलर, बट माइक्रोस्पोर पोलन ग्रेन बनेगा. ठीक है, माइक्रोस्पोर को हम कह सकते हैं इट इज एन इमेच्योर पोलन ग्रेन. सो व्हेन माइक्रोस्पोर विल स्टार्ट मेच्योरिंग इट इज कन्वर्टेड इनटू अ पोलन ग्रेन. ओके, सो ईच पोलन ग्रेन हैज टू मेल गैमेट्स इन इट. Okay, it has two male gametes in it. So this is what you need to know. Then what else do you see in the mature anther transverse section? You see some center part here. Okay, this is connective. I told you, right? तो मैंने आपको explain किया था बेटा, anther and filament are attached by some parenchymatous tissue. So that parenchymatous tissue is nothing but connective. So here we will see the connective cells. Okay, that is parenchymatous cells which help in the attachment of anther and filament. Okay, so did you understand the wall layers? Is this much clear? इतना clear हुआ आपको? Layers of anther wall, four layers: epidermis, endothelium, middle layers, tapetum. Okay, then pollen sacs will be present. अगर entire anther के लिए तो four pollen sacs. If you take each lobe, two pollen sacs. Okay, so pollen sac has sporogenous tissue which will give pollen mother cell. Pollen mother cell is a diploid that will undergo meiosis to give microspore. Microspore is a immature pollen grain. This microspore will start maturing itself. Then we call it as a pollen grain. Okay, the pollen grain will form the two male gametes inside it. Okay, मैं बताऊंगी कैसे कैसे क्या होगा, सब बताऊंगी. अभी बस एक ओवरव्यू आपको दे रही हूँ. Okay, so connective is the attachment between anther and filament. Okay, चलो. Now, so tails of anther में बेटा हमने देखा layers of anther wall. Okay, so now we know the names and layers, but you need to know the function also, right? You need to know the functions. So here we will see, so layers of anther wall. First is epidermis, endothelium, and middle layer. So these three are can be considered as protective layers. Okay, they are protective layers. That does the protection. Okay, the protection of inside structures. देखो बेटा pollen grains हैं, pollen sacs, and then they definitely require the protection, right? So they need the protection. Chalo. So epidermis, endothelium, middle layers do the protection. Now coming to endothelium and middle layers, along with protection, they does another function. What they do the dehiscence of pollen grain. जिन बच्चों को समझ नहीं आ रहा है कि डिहाइसेंस क्या है, बेटा डिहाइसेंस इज नथिंग बट रिलीज आउट ऑफ पोलन ग्रेन्स from the pollen sacs. Okay, from the pollen sacs, pollen grains will be released out. Okay, so here you will see. So here these structures that you see, these is nothing but pollen mother cell. So these pollen mother cells will make the pollen grains. तो अंदर बहुत सारे pollen grains होंगे. अब क्या होगा, मेच्योर होगा ना हमारा आंतर, तब यहाँ पे एक स्ट्रक्चर रहेगा जिसको हमने स्टोमियम कहा था. दिस स्टोमियम विल कन्वर्ट इनटू अ लाइन ऑफ डिहाइसेंस फॉर द रिलीज ऑफ so many pollen grains into the air which will eventually do the pollination. Okay, समझ में आ रहा है? ओके, सो डिहाइसेंस ऑफ पोलन ग्रेन होता है. अब कैसे होगा मैम डिहाइसेंस? मैंने आपको बताया मैम, ये जब जॉइंट है, हमने कहा स्टोमियम, जब वहां पे एक लॉन्गिट्यूडिनल ग्रूव बना, हमने उसको कहा लाइन ऑफ डिहाइसेंस. तो मैम वो ग्रूव कैसे बना? तो ग्रूव ऐसे बना, ओके, एंडोथीसियम सेल्स एंड मिडल लेयर्स दे आर यूजुअली टर्जिड. बेटा व्हाट डू मीन बाय टर्जिड? सो टर्जिड इज अ शेप ऑफ द सेल. अब ये सेल है, देखो ये एकदम टर्जिड है, मतलब इसके अंदर भर भर के वाटर है एंड इट इज स्वोलन. एकदम से टर्जिड मतलब स्वोलन सेल, इट हैज सो मच ऑफ वाटर इन इट. ओके, सो व्हाट इज फ्लासिड सेल? फ्लासिड इज अ shrunken cell. मतलब you will see a dehydrated cell can be called as a flaccid where there is so much loss of water. Okay, so initially when anther is still young, when it is not completely mature, the cells of endothelium and middle layers will be turgid. They have so much of water in them. So as soon as anthers gets mature, at that time what happens? These endothelium cells and middle layers, they start to dehydrate. जैसे वो dehydrate होंगे, the cells will turn from turgid to flaccid. So this flaccidity will cause the shrinking of cells and that will lead to the opening. तो यहाँ पे gap हो जाती है, so it will lead to the opening, and so this opening of stomium will be called as a line of dehiscence, which will help in the release of pollen grains. ठीक है? I hope this is clear now. So this is the function of epidermis, endothelium, and middle layers. Coming to tapetum, I told you right, tapetum are the very special, cells. क्यों स्पेशल है? बिकॉज दीज tapetum cells are providing nourishment, nutrition for the developing pollen grains. इसीलिए ये अंदर है बेटा, it is inside. See, so here you will say this is microspore mother cell, and this microspore mother cell will undergo meiosis to give the pollen grain, right? तो अभी देखो इसके एकदम beside में, okay, exactly beside the pollen grain or the microspore mother cell, you will find the tapetum. So this tapetum will provide the nourishment and nutrition for the developing pollen grains. Okay, that is clear to you? Chalo. And now one more thing I want to tell you. This tapetum, okay, it has so many things. tapetum के बारे में पता करने के लिए बहुत सारी चीजें हैं, अभी वो नेक्स्ट स्लाइड में देखेंगे. So you understood the function of anther wall layers? Epidermis, endothelium, middle layer, tapetum. Protection, 3 layers. Dehiscence, 2 layers. Last, fourth one will do the nutrition. Provide the nutrition for the developing pollen grain. Now, I told you right, function of tapetum. Tapetum is not a common thing. Tapetum is a very special structure. Dekho. So what is the function of tapetum then? First, it will provide the nutrition for the developing pollen grain. Okay. सी आई टेल यू समथिंग. मैं ना कॉमनली आपको स्लाइड्स में पॉइंट्स दे के समझा सकती थी बेटा, क्योंकि मैंने वो आपको इतना इफेक्टिव नहीं रहेगा, दैट विल वोंट बी दैट मच इफेक्टिव. सो दैट्स व्हाई आई हैव रिटर्न्ड इट सो दैट यू विल टेक द हैंड नोट्स. ओके, जैसे मैं पढ़ा रही हूँ बेटा, आई विल शेयर द PPT, no doubt, I'll share the PPT. But still, in the class only, if you take the notes, it is quite helpful for you. Okay, we call that as a class notes. Chalo. So function of tapetum is providing nutrition for the developing pollen grain. I told you already. Next point. These tapetum cells, they make the compatible protein. Okay, they make the compatible protein to the pollen grain. You might be wondering, ma'am, what is compatible protein? Have you heard the word compatible? बेटा compatible क्या है? बेटा हम लोग ये word use करते हैं जैसे एक लड़का लड़की की शादी करवा रहे हैं, वी आर मेकिंग अ कपल. So in that couple, if we are, arranging a marriage, we'll see that the boy and girl, bride and groom, must have the characters which are compatible to each other. Okay, like दोनों को drawing पसंद होना चाहिए. Example. Okay, both of them must, like exploring cities, exploring, new places. They like traveling. So ये क्या होता है? Both the people will have the common liking, and that will create a good compatibility within their relationship. Okay, so that is what a compatible protein. तो compatibility इसको कहते हैं. ठीक है? I hope you understood the word compatible. Okay, now what happens pollen grain के लिए बेटा? Okay, I told you, like, what is pollination? Pollination is nothing but release of pollen grain from the anther, and that anther will sit on the stigma. It will sit on the stigma, and that stigma will recognize the pollen grain. But this is the case, right? So stigma is the receptive part where pollen grain will come and sit. Okay. अब बेटा हमारे नेचर में there are so many flowers, so many pollen grains. How does it recognize कि हाँ भाई ये pollen grain मेरे ही species का है, मेरे ही स्पीशीज का है, मेरे फ्लावर का हो सकता है, मेरे प्लांट का हो सकता है, बट इट इज ऑफ माई स्पीशीज ओनली, इट इज माइन. Okay, I have to allow this pollen grain to germinate and form the germ tube. Okay, how it will come to know? So stigma will come to know because of this compatible protein. All pollen grains have a special type of protein surrounding them. That protein is called as compatible protein, which is surrounding pollen grain. It is like a identification card for knowing, हाँ भाई, कि पता चलेगा स्टिग्मा को कि ये मेरे ही स्पीशीज का है. ओके, अगर कंपैटिबल प्रोटीन डिफरेंट होगा तो इट विल बी नॉट अलाउिंग, स्टिग्मा विल नॉट अलाउ द पोलन ग्रेन टू जर्मिनेट. Okay, so each pollen grain, each species have its own compatible protein. Okay, just like our DNA बेटा, मैं बताऊं तो हम, मेरा DNA डिफरेंट है, तुम्हारा डिफरेंट है, अश्विन का डिफरेंट है, अनु का डिफरेंट है. So what happens? Everybody has its different compatibility. Okay, मतलब compatible protein या फिर identity. Similarly, each pollen grain for each species it has different. ओके, यू अंडरस्टूड. तो ये जो पोलन ग्रेन के ऊपर कंपैटिबल प्रोटीन इज प्रेजेंट, दिस इज मेड बाय टैपिटम. ओके, विच हेल्प्स इन द रिकॉग्निशन ऑफ स्टिग्मा एंड पोलन ग्रेन ड्यूरिंग द पॉलिनेशन. क्लियर? नेक्स्ट, थर्ड फंक्शन. Tapetum provides hormone called as indole acetic acid for growth. You know this. Okay, you already know this indole acetic acid. I have taught you that in the plant growth and development. Okay, chalo. Next function, it provides the enzyme callase. Okay, enzyme callase produce करता है. What is the need of callase? I will tell you. Okay, आगे चल के मैं आपको समझाऊंगी. There is a component called callose. Okay, callose करके एक structure होता है. That callose has to be digested with this enzyme callase. Okay, I'll tell you. But for now, you remember callase is synthesized or provided by the tapetum. Next, very, 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 very important. Okay, tapetum produces the pollen kit material for insect pollination. Okay, so what is pollen kit material? I will tell you in the next classes. मैं आपको बताऊंगी pollen kit क्या है. Okay, but अभी के लिए just remember, pollen kit material is the sticky material which is present over the pollen grain. ओके, तो बेटा पोलन ग्रेन के ऊपर सिर्फ ये नहीं होता. पोलन ग्रेन इज अ वेरी यूनिक स्ट्रक्चर. इट हैज इट्स लेयर एक्साइन इन टाइम, एंड ओवर दैट इट हैज इट्स ओन प्रोटीन, कंपैटिबल प्रोटीन. इसके अलावा इट हैज अ स्टिकी सब्सटेंस कॉल्ड एज पोलन किट. So pollen grain has compatible protein, pollen kit, and that pollen kit is very much needed for the insect pollination. Okay, so I'll tell you how in the upcoming classes. Okay, another important point, tapetum cells, okay, they have more than one nuclei. So tapetum cells are multinucleated, and that condition is called as syncytial condition. Okay, जिन बच्चों को मैंने लोकोमोशन एंड मूवमेंट पढ़ाया है, मसल फाइबर, आप मेरी क्लास सुने हो, तो बेटा यू मस्ट नो दैट syncytial condition is also found in the muscle cell. Okay, so similarly this condition is seen in the tapetum cells. So here what happens, cardiokinesis will occur, but cytokinesis is not preceded. ओके, तो न्यूक्लियर डिविजन बहुत सारे हो जाते हैं, बट सेलुलर डिविजन नहीं होने के कारण एक सेल के अंदर बहुत सारे न्यूक्लियाई रह जाते हैं. ओके, सो दैट कंडीशन इज अ सिंसाइशियल, दैट इज मल्टीन्यूक्लिएटेड कंडीशन इज फाउंड इन द tapetum. Okay, you understood compatible protein, right? I told you in stigma so many pollen grains will come and sit. Only the compatible protein one, matchable, compatible जो protein होता है ना, which is understood by the stigma, only that is allowed to form the pollen tube or the germ tube. ठीक है, अदरवाइज बहुत सारे क्या होंगे, ये बिल्कुल ऐसे ही पड़े रहेंगे स्टिग्मा के ऊपर, दे वोंट मेक द जर्मिनेशन ट्यूब. Okay, so these are some important functions of tapetum that you need to know. Okay, okay, so for this class, this much is enough. Formation of anther, we will understand it tomorrow. Okay, chalo. This is one question we will solve. Which one of the following statement is correct? Sporogenous tissue is haploid. Endothecium produces microspores. Tapetum nourishes the developing pollen. Hard outer layer of pollen is called intine. ओके, इसमें बहुत सारी चीजें आपको ऐसे मैंने वर्बली बताया है, बट आई हैव नॉट शोन इन पीपीटी. बट इफ यू हैव हर्ड माय क्लास केयरफुली, देन यू विल बी एबल टू आंसर दिस. ओके, सो विच स्टेटमेंट इज करेक्ट? ओके, आई टोल्ड यू inside a, okay, so here you will see the pollen sacs. So inside pollen sac we'll find the sporogenous tissue, and those sporogenous tissue will make the pollen mother cell. So pollen mother cell will be diploid, sporogenous cell is a diploid. So this is incorrect. Sporogenous tissue is diploid, not haploid. Okay. So endothecium produces the microspores. No, definitely not. Pollen mother cells produces the microspores, can also be called as microspore mother cells, okay, which are made from sporogenous tissue. ठीक है, तो endothecium what will it will do? It will do the protection and it will help in the dehiscence of pollen grain, but not produce the microspore. Hence, B is also wrong statement. Okay, tapetum nourishes the developing pollen. Yes, I told you tapetum is a nutritive layer, okay, which has the nourishing ability for the developing pollen grain. This third statement is correct. Now, so ये मैंने आपको पढ़ाया नहीं है, बस ऐसे बताया था that pollen grain has two layers. Okay, so outer layer can be called as a exine and the internal layer is called as intine. ये बाहर वाला exine होता है, अंदर वाला intine होता है. Exine is made up of a very hard substance that is called as a sporopollenin. Okay, exine outermost layer, hard layer, is made up of sporopollenin, which is not digested by any enzyme present on this earth that we know. Okay, intine is the internal layer of the pollen grain, and this is made up of cellulose and pectin, but it is not hard layer. It is very soft layer. Okay, so D is also the wrong statement. Hence, C is the answer for this question. Okay, so C is the answer for this question. चलो, नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन, ये क्वेश्चन हम लोग करेंगे, देन विल एंड द क्लास. द गिवन फिगर शोज द टिपिकल. अच्छा, तो यहाँ पे ऑलरेडी मैंने छोड़ दिया है सब कुछ, चलो कोई नहीं, डिस्कस तो कर लेते हैं. सो दिस इज द टिपिकल स्टेमन स्ट्रक्चर, 3 डायमेंशनल स्ट्रक्चर है. सो यू हैव टू आइडेंटिफाई ए डी, ए टू डी. ओके, ए है, बी है, सी है एंड डी है. ठीक है, so A is anther, we all know A is anther, and here you will find the connective and this is filament. ठीक है, तो अब क्या होगा बेटा, D is nothing but very simple pollen grain है. ठीक है, what is C? C is pollen sac. Okay, you can see here C is a pollen sac. Okay, and what is B? B is a filament. Okay, B क्या है? B filament है. So आपको देखते ही पता चल गया कि हाँ भाई A B C D और these structures. This is a diagram of NCERT. ठीक है, एनसीईआरटी का डायग्राम है, प्लीज रीड द एनसीईआरटी. ठीक है, चलो अब मैं आपको बताती हूँ यहाँ पे. सो दिस स्टॉक, आई टोल्ड यू राइट, एवरी स्ट्रक्चर हैज इट्स स्टॉक. ओके, लाइक अ होल्डिंग स्ट्रक्चर. तो इनफ्लोरेसेंस के स्टॉक को बेटा हम कहते हैं पेडुंकल. ओके, PEDUNCLE, पेडुंकल इज द स्टॉक ऑफ इनफ्लोरेसेंस. पेडिसेल इज द स्टॉक ऑफ फ्लावर. ओके, तो फ्लावर का जो स्टॉक होता है उसको हम पेडिसेल कहते हैं. And the stalk of leaf is called as petiole. You might have studied this in the anatomy of flowering plants also. Okay, petiole is the stalk of leaf. ठीक है, The stalk of leaf is petiole, stalk of flower is peduncle, and the stalk of inflorescence is peduncle. Pedicel, flower, peduncle, inflorescence. ठीक है, तो अब आप ये जब देखोगे आंसर्स, तो डी इज द करेक्ट आंसर फॉर दिस क्वेश्चन. ठीक है, सो टुमारो वी विल अंडरस्टैंड द फॉर्मेशन ऑफ एंथर, कैसे एंथर बना, एंड माइक्रोस्पोरोजेनेसिस, एंड कितने टाइप्स ऑफ माइक्रोस्पोर्स है, एंड ऑल द अदर थिंग्स वी विल स्टडी. बहुत कुछ है बेटा. Okay, so thank you so much. So what is your homework? Read the NCRT textbook, make the short notes of this class. Okay, and then thank you so much. Any doubts you have? If you have any doubts, you can ask, otherwise you can leave. Any doubts? No? Chalo. See you tomorrow then. Take care. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.